There's a storm brewing out in the Pacific Ocean. It's big, it's powerful, it may be headed to the 50th U.S. state, and it leads off today's edition of CNN 10. I'm Carl Azus. It's good to have you watching. Hurricane Lane is its name. At one point yesterday, it was a Category 5 storm, the strongest classification on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Since then, Lane has weakened a little, as forecasters expected it would. But the system still carried wind speeds of 155 miles per hour, which the government says is capable of catastrophic damage to homes, businesses, trees, and power lines. Forecasters don't know for sure if Lane will make a direct hit on Hawaii. The string of islands are a pretty small target in the Pacific, and only 4 named storms, that includes 2 tropical storms, have made landfall there since 1959. However, the U.S. National Weather Service says the center of Hurricane Lane is on track to either hit or skirt by the main Hawaiian Islands later this week. So Hawaii has issued hurricane watches and a warning, and people are being told to protect themselves, their homes, and their businesses. Even if Lane doesn't make a direct hit, it's still expected to blast the islands with strong wind and rain, rough surf, and coastal erosion. When it was 480 miles away from Hawaii yesterday morning, it was pushing larger than usual waves across the Pacific onto the eastern side of the Big Island. Forecasting hurricanes isn't an exact science. If this storm hits Hawaii, it could happen anytime between Thursday and Sunday.
Tropical systems come in all shapes and sizes. You have tropical depressions, tropical storms, and once it is strong enough to become a hurricane, you have 5 categories, with Category 5 being the strongest. The states most frequently hit by a hurricane: Florida, Louisiana, and Texas. But as much as we know about hurricanes, forecasting them is still a challenge. Just as we name each storm has its own personality. Like Katrina in 2005, which intensified rapidly overnight, going from a Category 3 to a Category 5. It became the 4th most intense hurricane on record as of that time. And the forecast track can change dramatically, like Erica in 2015. Or a system that can be viewed as relatively weak, like a tropical storm, could end up like Tropical Storm Allison in 2001. The remnants of the storm stalled over southeast Texas, dumping 35 inches of rain over Houston in just 5 days. The storm became the first non-hurricane to have its name retired.
10-second trivia. A statue of what animal, which symbolizes a rising stock market, is also a tourist attraction in New York's financial district? Bear, wolf, shark, or bull? The Charging Bull, a massive sculpture symbolizing optimism, is located at the intersection of Broadway and Morris Street. 3,454 days. That's the age of the longest bull market in American history, according to most analysts, and it's still going. Here's why this is significant. The U.S. stock market is one indicator of how well the U.S. economy is doing. Bull markets indicate that investors like what they see. They're buying stocks, causing prices to rise, and this is a sign that the economy as a whole is steadily improving. There has never been a longer period of time when the market had uninterrupted gains like this. Now, this doesn't mean it hasn't had hiccups along the way. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, an index of 30 significant U.S. stocks, saw its biggest one-day point drop earlier this year in February. But one interesting characteristic of this bull market is how it's shaken off the hits it's taken and continued growing. Where and when will it stop? Nobody knows.
It was Monday, March 9th, 2009. Bernie Madoff was under house arrest for the greatest Ponzi scheme in history. Famed investor Warren Buffett issued a dire warning on the state of the economy.
We talked about it being an economic Pearl Harbor. It's fallen off a cliff.
And Larry Kudlow, then a TV pundit, railed against efforts to rescue world economies.
They're doing the wrong kind of stimulus. They are spending their tuchuses off.
On Wall Street, still reeling from the collapse of 2008, it was just another down day. The Dow falling over 1% to 12-year lows. Most people unaware this was as low as it would go. The bottom of one of the worst bear markets in history. On March 10th, stocks rallied, the Dow soaring almost 6%. Soon, there was talk of economic rebirth.
Do you see green shoots?
I do see green shoots.
And by the end of the year, the Dow was back above 10,000 again. Over the years, the bull run would be tested. In August 2011, by the US credit rating downgrade.
The political brinkmanship we saw over raising the debt ceiling was something that was really beyond our expectations.
In early 2016, by plummeting oil prices and a slowing Chinese economy.
What's going on in the yuan, the Chinese currency, that sharp devaluation is very bad.
And just this February, as markets spun lower over fears of the end of cheap money.
Worries over rising interest rates, concerns about higher inflation.
Be it a cyclical downturn that stops the record run,
the risk of recession rapidly rises as we look out to the second half of 2019 and into 2020.
or something unexpected, one thing is clear. March 9th, 2009 was the buying opportunity of a lifetime.
It's one thing to draw your name in the sand or build a castle. It's quite another to make a living as a sand artist. Now, we've featured folks who create intricate sand sculptures at competitions worldwide. But what Jim Denovan does, the geometric patterns he makes, requires little more than a stick and a rake. And it's only a matter of hours before it's all washed away. Would you call his canvas sandpaper? When it's gone, would you call it a wash? It certainly made waves, even if it can only be measured in geometrics, and it proves there's more than a grain of truth to the saying, art is in the eye of the beach holder. I'm Carl Azus, sifting through news and puns on CNN.